Hi, I'm Brad Heath, designer of the SafeTack Reverse. I want to take just a few moments of your time to talk about the 2-horse gooseneck in a reverse load. You can see the reverse is very popular. All of these are custom built to order trailers and just waiting to be delivered to clients. Let's just jump right in. We'll start out in the on the snow side here, the gooseneck. This particular trailer, of course, is a custom build, so a lot of the features were designed by the client and built according to what their needs are. I like this. The diamond plate is standard. This is a full 96-inch width trailer. Our client is hauling a 17+ warm blood in here, so we needed the extra width, which I will explain more once we get inside. Just a quick thing to point out, this gooseneck coupler, it's a cable release, and I really like this because as you roll it down in the tow vehicle, you don't have to worry about, hey, did I latch my coupler, because it'll automatically lock around the ball. And then once you're ready to unlatch, as you're lifting the trailer up, you simply pull the cable and you could crank it back off of that ball. So just another safety feature that we have built in. We don't ever want a trailer leaving without being latched. Typically we'd have a running board underneath or on this side underneath the dress door, but because it's a full 96-inch width, this is full legal width and we can't make it any wider. And so we just did this fold-up step instead, okay? You have a door holdback, so you don't have to worry about this door flopping around in the wind. Our client added a grab handle, which I really like. It's easy to get in and out. I'll point out the items that she added. Of course, in the gooseneck, you can see that there's plenty of space if you want to hop up or if you plan to camp or sleep inside. This particular one, I believe, is a 7'8" in height. Standard height is 7'4". So if you are planning to use your gooseneck for camping, you'll want to go with that extra height. Otherwise, you're going to crack your gourd when you crawl up on top of your mattress. The carpet is standard on the jack sheet and on the nose area. The trailer is 100% insulated front to rear, including the dress. So this is an expense that you don't have to incur. The roof is a one-piece fiber composite. We'll discuss that more in the horse area when we do that. But behind these walls, there's insulation and then, of course, the outer wall separating that. Carpet is standard in the floor. We did a stall mat in this one. I sort of like the mats better. The carpet tends to soil pretty quickly. Excuse me. And then with the mat, because we elevate our floors higher from the horse area, and I'll show you that in just a moment, it creates this sweep out feature. So you could just take a broom and sweep your trailer out. I've seen a lot of other trailers where you have to step over the threshold to get in and out. It creates a toe trip, and I just don't like it. And I'll go ahead and explain the floor height difference. You could see this is the horse area, and here's the bottom of your dress floor. So we lift that floor up approximately 4 inches for a couple of different reasons. One, having this wall go all the way to the chassis, it really ties the trailer together. It's super strong. If in a rollover situation, this would really help in that bracing. The other thing is if the wall, most manufacturers sit the wall on top of the floor and the flooring runs underneath that. The problem is, one, if you ever have a problem with the floor, how are you going to get it out from underneath the wall? You have to cut it. The other thing that I don't like about it is if the front of the trailer is down and you're hosing your trailer out, it'll actually run up underneath the wall. So this is a much better design. It costs more to make. It's more labor intensive, but it's just something that we do standard. We feel that it's worth the extra investment. This particular client added carpet on this wall and a wall grid organizer. Now, there's lots of websites that offer accessories for this grid panel, hooks, hangers, hat holders, saddle racks, and they'll bolt or snap right into the grid at any position around. So rather than having to throw all of your stuff in the floor, you can utilize this vertical wall space, which I really like. And of course, having the carpet is just a noise barrier, keeps everything from clanking and creating a lot of noise as you're traveling with your horse. We like to keep keep it as quiet as possible. Because it is an 8-wide trailer and we didn't have room for a running board, I added these steps that's standard with the grab handle. So if you need to feed, you could step up inside and check on your horse. That's not anything that you need to worry about adding because it's already on there. Now, the windows, I really like these. Years ago, we used to have the latch up top. It was too tall. My wife's 5'2". She can't reach those. So I worked with the window manufacturer and said, hey, we need something lower. And we went with this mid-latch system. It's a one-hand operation, particularly with the holder. So you just squeeze that. It's very easy to lay that down. You can latch it on this rubber stopper. It's pretty squeaky because it's so cold today. The window will slide as well as lay down. And of course, there's a screen if you wanted to travel and just have the window open rather than down. Now, the bars and the window will fold independent of each other, so you could lay these bars down or you could leave them up while traveling, which I would recommend. The outer skin on this trailer is aluminum. The construction is Z-frame. Z simply stands for zinc. It's strong like steel, it's lightweight like aluminum, and it doesn't rust. So we sort of get the best of both worlds with the Z-frame. It's a technology that we developed several years ago. It's been on the market for a long time now with proven success. Another thing that we do is you'll notice there are not any bolts or screws or rivets, no mechanical fasteners whatsoever. 3M, we use a 3M chemical bonding system to attach this sheet to the tubing upright. And there's a couple advantages to that. One, it's a watertight barrier, so you don't have to worry about water getting in behind your wall. The other advantage is there's no metal on metal. That bonding system has a membrane in between, so the sheet can actually expand and contract with temperature change, and it reduces the noise while traveling. That's the big advantage of that. If you look at trailers that have the rivets in it every few inches on a bright sunny day and look down the sidewall, you'll see the sidewall of the trailer is very wavy, whereas the sidewall on this one is smooth. And the reason for that is when the sun hits the metal, it expands and the rivets prevent it from moving, so it ends up buckling. You won't have that buckling problem with the chemical bonding technology. Again, this is a full 8 foot wide. I keep reiterating that because the ramp is so large. I love these rubber straps. We've been using them for many years. A lot of clients seem to be concerned about them, but I haven't sold a replacement strap in over 10 years. It's the same one that's used on the hood of a Freightliner, 18-wheeler truck. Next time you're on the interstate, take a look and you'll see these straps. They're quite durable and it holds that ramp very well. And of course, that's just one of them. I don't even have the other one. We've got a stopper here so you don't have to worry about it clanking or anything like that. They're just easy to use. Horse safe. I love this ramp. One of the things that I like to do is the toe check just to make sure that we can lift those. And this one is very easy. Even with the extra width, we just added an additional spring in here to keep that weight as light as possible. I do go ahead and mount the ramps at a lower pivot point than the floor. You can see there's a slight, it's just a little bit lower. And the advantage to having a lower pivot point is it reduces the incline of the ramp. You can imagine if this point were here, the ramp would be more steep. And of course, the steeper the ramp, the greater the risk of a horse slipping while getting in and out. We use an anti-skid surface, so that works well, but a low incline ramp is very important. I love these latches. They're one-hand operation. It's a cam style latch, so when you rotate it around, it just closes that door really tight. And yeah, just slam that latch down with the one hand. It's very easy. Of course, you can lock these too, but we've used these for many years and I really like them. I'm gonna go ahead and open these doors up. Now, this is the SafeTack. It's exclusive to Double D trailers. You will not find it anywhere else in the United States. We own the rights to the design. And the problem with a lot of slant loads with the rear tack is that the horse doesn't like to load through this narrow confining doorway. This one's a little bit wider than normal because it's an 8-foot wide trailer. But horses can be claustrophobic. They just don't like going into these tight, dark spaces. So, and then another disadvantage of a conventional rear tack is if you have an unruly horse and you want to get the tack out of the way, you basically have to clean the entire tack room out just to swing those saddles and collapse the walls. So it's a horrible design. And if you have a horse that doesn't load well and you have to lead your guy in, if this were a conventional rear tack and you walk in, where are you going to go? There's no place of escape. It's a trap point for the handler, and it's just, like I say, a horrible, unsafe design all the way around. The SafeTack really solves the issues with slant loads. It's well balanced. We've got this handle here. You can just spin it around out of the way. A convenient latch on the back side. I'll go ahead and latch that so you don't have to worry about it flopping around in the wind. Now take a look at that. You have the entire back of the trailer available, open for loading and unloading. We use this extra partition, and we're one of the few folks that do that for a couple of different reasons. You can imagine on a long haul, your horse has been hauling for several hours and you open up the back doors and you're ready to unload. Well, if you have a butt strap or a butt bar, often they could get cut on the strap or they'll sit down on the bar, plus you run the risk of getting kicked. This is why we latch doors, because now it's trying to swing on me, so let me do that. So that extra partition will prevent your potential unruly horse from trying to get out before you're ready to unload him or her. You could step up inside. You've got a divider between you and your horse, so if a guy spooks or what have you, we've got extra protection there for the handler. Untie the horse. And of course this one-hand operation latch, I really like those. If you get a horse trying to back out, you could just slam that. They're rubber coated and a really hardened material, so we don't have to worry about the vibration or rattling while we're traveling. Now this partition is spring loaded, and they are on all forward facing designs that we manufacture. And the advantage is when you unlatch it, it just tries to open up for you. It swings around to the side. There's a little stopper here to prevent that from clanking. And yeah, it just stays there. So this is very inviting. And this is a reverse load, and so we'll work with the side ramp, and I'll show you how the functionality of all of those. So to load in a forward-facing configuration, both horses, you would pull this around, bring in your first guy, tie off the head here. Now I use these lay flat tie rings. We don't have to worry about poking a horse's eye. A lot of companies bolt these on, which I don't like because an unruly horse can pull those bolts out. We actually weld these to the Galvalite material. Now, if you're not familiar with Galvalite, it's the same material that's in the bed of a pickup truck. So Ford, Chevy, Dodge, those guys have been using it for many, many years. It's very strong and durable. It doesn't rust, as you're aware, if you're pulling with your truck. And the only difference is we purchase it smooth without all the ripples like you would have in the bed of the truck. So I really like the Galvalite. And again, it's insulated behind it, so if a horse rears up and starts kicking, or while you're traveling, you just don't have that vibration and noise to worry about. Tie off the head on the first guy. You're safely out of the way. There's no problems with you getting in or out. Latch your divider back. Walk out the back. Bring in your second guy. Tie off the head. Repeat the process. Walk around. Close the door. All right. And so that would be in a forward-facing configuration, loading from the back. I'll show you how to do reverse load. Now, a standard feature on all the reverse loads is you're going to have drop-down windows on both ends. So if a horse is facing this direction or if he's facing this direction, I also add vents over both ends. So regardless of the direction, we could get some nice airflow for your guy while traveling. Now, a lot of manufacturers, you'll notice these head partitions are enclosed. I hate that. It's a horrible design. It just increases claustrophobia. It reduces airflow. It makes the stall darker. And we like to keep everything as bright and open and as airy as possible. And the reason a lot of companies make this solid sheet, I can tell you, is less expensive to build. You cut one piece of metal and you fasten it and you're done. Whereas with these, we have to weld each particular bar in and then paint all around them. So it's quite time consuming, but again, it's just something else that we feel is worth the extra time and investment and a huge safety feature. Now, the roof in this trailer, before we walk around, it's a one-piece fiber composite. And the advantage to it, there's several. Our older style, this is the safe bump roof. If you've seen some of our older videos, you understand how that functions. The problem with the older styles is it had a lot of seams, it could leak over the years, it lacked enough bracing. In a rollover situation, a horse could get ejected. So we added a roof bow, a Z-frame roof bow directly into the mold every 16 inches on this. If you get in a rollover situation, unfortunately, with your trailer, it greatly reduces the risk of that horse being ejected. And if he does rear up, it's quite forgiving here, and it's insulated. And then one more thing is it is one piece and it's made in a mold. So there's no seams in it whatsoever. We'll have some videos about the roof construction later on. So just basically having a horse-safe roof that doesn't require any maintenance or leaking, short-term or long-term, is quite beneficial. We went ahead and added the rumber flooring in this trailer. A 2x8 wood floor, pressure-treated pine with a mat on top is standard. I love wood floors, nothing at all wrong with them. But the rumber transfers less heat, noise, and vibration in comparison to wood or aluminum. Aluminum's actually the worst because it transfers the most amount of heat, noise, and vibration. Rumber's made from recycled tires. It's nothing proprietary. You could look it up, rumber.com. They're based out of Texas, and any manufacturer can buy this material. So it's nothing exclusive to us, but I've been using it for many, many years. We've done interviews with clients that have had it for close to 25 years now, and they really like the rumber. It's tongue and groove, which means one board fits into the board beside it. It's grooved on the top for an anti-slip surface, and then it's smooth on the bottom. It's approximately 2 inches thick and 8 inches wide. So it's a 2x8, just like a board. The difference is if they come in 16-foot lengths. If you and I were to stand on either end of a rumber board and pick it up, it would sort of sag down in the middle. And that flexibility is really beneficial for horses because it will actually flex and provides a more comfortable ride than a conventional harder floor will. You can see the bolts of where the floor is secured directly to the cross member underneath. If you were to crawl up underneath the trailer, you'd see the bolt sticking through and you'd see the bottom side of the rumber floor. So this is the actual floor. And in addition to the numerous advantages for the horses, it's a lazy person's floor, which is me. It means when I go on a long ride and I come back, I don't feel like dragging the mats out, hosing the trailer down, waiting for it to dry, pull the mats back in. With rumber, you don't have to do anything because it's rubber, but to hose it out for cleanliness, it's very easy to do. You could sweep it out. There's no lip here, so you don't have to worry about anything piling up on the back. Now, this trailer does have the safe kick wall system. Of course, the fender wells will change that just a little bit, but we've coated these. They're horse safe. Anytime that you go a full width trailer for the larger guys, you're going to have the fender. We've been building them that way for well over 20 years. 0 injuries ever reported, so no problems whatsoever with that fender well and the way that it's being constructed. Let's walk on around. I want to show you the side ramp. Oh, let's take a peek at the Tack while we're here. And this particular client added a brush tray and I think a few extra bridle hangers. 3 are standard, but it comes with the mat and the floor. You could throw most anything in there. You can add more saddle racks. These are adjustable, so if you'd rather have the rack up here rather than down low, it's very easy to do that. You could do 2 saddles and perhaps add a couple of blanket bars that fit right into that saddle rack as well. It's a nice lockable compartment, keeps your high dollar saddles and gear clean and away from the dust, which you will have on a conventional rear tack because those are actually open on the top, not enclosed. Yeah, we'll leave this open. We talked about the drop-down windows, so let's move on to the side ramp and load in a reverse configuration. So I'm going to latch this door, fold our ramp down. Now I make this ramp a 4-foot wide ramp. Some of the older models we made 36 inches instead, and we figured out that it just wasn't wide enough, and with this design you could get any size horse through here without issue. We do a chest bar. Let's just assume that we want to load a horse in a reverse configuration. We're going to drop this chest bar / butt bar out of the way, lift the pin up, pivot the divider around, and I'll just use the latch here to hold it against the wall, nice and safe, very easy. If a horse gets in it, it'll break away. So you bring this first guy in, tie off the head here, leave the partition there. That way you don't have to worry about them trying to get out of the back of the trailer. Of course, with the SafeTack, it's very inviting and open and airy. Once you tie that guy off, you'd simply just unlatch, pull the partition back around. Now, because these dividers hinge on both ends, we can't use the nice spring-loaded hinge that pushes the divider around. It has this pin on either end. They function the same way. They're very easy to lift in and out. The only disadvantage that I've seen with this design is that when you lift the pin, it will actually drop down a little bit. Now what that means is when you get ready to latch it back, you just have to lift up. It's about a ½ inch, it's not much. I don't have a problem with it and it works quite well. To load your second horse, you're going to bring that guy in, tie off the head here, and of course you can easily step out the full height escape door, which is standard on every trailer that we make in that slant wall. We do include typically an escape door on the front stall. If this were a 3-horse, the door would go all the way to the floor. On a 2-horse, it would be a short door over the top of the fender. This particular client ordered without the door for whatever reason, but in my opinion, I'd prefer to have that door. That way, if you have a horse that doesn't like to load quite as well, you can have the door open, which just makes it more inviting. Okay, so once you tie off the horse, you're out the back, you'd go around to the side, drop in the butt bar and close off the ramp. Now, to unload these guys, they're gonna walk out of the back of your trailer. So they walked in the side, they're gonna walk out the back. Your first horse, his head will be right here. So you simply untie and walk out. Your second guy, same thing. Now remember, for loading, we unlatch from this end. To unload, we'll simply pull the partition around this way, reach over and grab your guy and walk him or her out of the trailer. So the SafeTack Reverse, it's one of the safest that we've seen. We have client after client that have given testimonials about difficult to load horses and trailers that that just didn't travel well in, and they've really liked the SafeTack Reverse and hauling in that reverse configuration.